Welcome to TalkNorth.com. Thanks to our longtime producer, Brandon Morton. Please download before you listen. If you'd like to advertise with us, you can reach us at talknorthpodcast@gmail.com. And please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod. Two promo codes to be aware of. Bitesquad.com. Use the promo code TalkNorth to get your first delivery free. And go to SodaStick.com, the great local apparel company. Use the promo code YouBetcha to get free shipping on any sized order. John has some great moments to share with you this week. This is Preps Today with John Millea. He is the MSHSL.org prep sports guru and writer. You can find his work at John's Journal at that website. I'm Jim Suhan from the Star Tribune. And of course, this is our high school sports and other stuff show at TalkNorth.com. Please follow us on Twitter at TalkNorthPod as we expand the network. We want you to see the new shows and any live shows, any specials we have along the way. Thank you to our producer, Brandon Morton, and our sponsors, PizzaBarnPrinceton.com. That is, of course, the Pizza Barn in Princeton, which is renovated, which is new wood and the same old cool people and great menu and beers. We'll tell you more about them in a little bit. Also, remember, Bitesquad, we have a deal with them. Promo code is TalkNorth for your first delivery fee waived. I'm going to throw up to you what you want to talk about first, John.
First, I'm going to say, did you refer to the Pizza Barn as new wood and old people? Is that what I heard?
You know, I realized it was one of those things. We don't do a lot of self-editing around here.
No, we don't.
We try to make this, as spontaneous as possible. We don't go back and edit stuff out unless it's Russo. Russo says 8 things a show where we have to go back and edit out. And I realized that I was saying it was going to sound really bad, and I tried to get past it, and you caught me.
I caught you. Well, I was going to jump in and say that new wood is actually really old wood, but it's new there.
It's old wood, it's new, awesome. And it's new. It's familiar people who really aren't that old.
They're not that old. No, I'm older than all of them.
Yes.
By a lot. So, yeah. Perfect post-game moments, Jim. Yeah, after the state semifinal football games at U.S. Bank Stadium last weekend, we had remarkable scenes in the interview room. And we bring, the coaches from both teams and some athletes from both teams to the Vikings interview room. It's a very professional setting, and it's remarkable the things you see. This year was extra remarkable. So we had 14 games over 3 days. It was just a blast. We had blowouts. We had down to the wire games. But I want to talk about three moments in that interview room that really stood out in my notebook here. One was a losing coach who, if you didn't know who won the game, you'd have sworn this guy's team won. So it's Wayne Ribsy Petermeyer from Browerville, Eagle Valley. He's a great guy. So he kind of opened up with an opening statement. And the first thing he said was, I'm going to walk out of here and go talk to my kids with my head high because they deserve it. His team got beat 56-7 by Bold. And, we have a mercy rule in high school football. If one team is ahead by 35 or more in the fourth quarter, you go to running time. If you're 35 or more before the fourth quarter, in most cases, you start running time with the fourth quarter. But the exception is if both coaches agree, you can start running time whenever you want. So we started running time in the third quarter because Ribsy, I'm sure he suggested it. It was a blowout. Why stay out there longer than you have to? But he was so impressive afterwards, saying, I'm going to walk out of here, talk to my kids with my head high because they deserve it. And it was kind of a lengthy statement. And if you go to John's Journal, you can see his full opening statement. And he closed it with this. At the beginning of the year, our mantra was to be committed. Be committed to the team, be committed to yourself, be committed to the guy next to you, and be committed in school. And they took that to heart. Every one of our kids got better in the classroom. Every one of them got better on the football field. And this was the team that nobody was predicting would play at U.S. Bank Stadium. So there's a coach who lost, who acted for all the world like his team had won. And then our next example is a winning coach who you'd thought might have been the losing coach because he was fighting back tears after the game. This is Chad Gimble, the Blooming Prairie coach of the Awesome Blossoms, which is as good as it gets. And also in 1A, they're going to play Bold in the Prep Bowl the weekend after Thanksgiving. And Chad has coached there for 23 years. This is the fourth time his teams have gone to state. This is the first time they've ever advanced to a Prep Bowl. And sometimes you forget how important things like that are. So he started talking, he had to stop himself. And because the tears were flowing, and it was really cool to see how much these guys put into this, how much they care. He said, I've been doing this for 23 years. This is our fourth time at state. So it's a big breakthrough with this group of guys, and that's awesome. It's a great group of senior leaders. But, as a coach and a player that's been through it for so many years, to finally break through and get that opportunity, that's a huge step for us and for our program and for our kids. It was remarkable. And he had 3 or 4 players up there with him, and you can just, see how happy these guys are to find that kind of success. They know their season's going to extend past Thanksgiving, which is the goal for every team. And as great as those 2 instances are, the most remarkable, incredible, this is maybe the neatest thing I've ever seen after a high school event of any kind. It was in 3A, Piers and Jackson County Central played on Saturday. And Jackson County Central led virtually the whole game till, a little over a minute left. Piers had a big play to score, take the lead, and Piers ended up winning 2 unbeaten teams. This was maybe before the semifinals. This was a game I was really looking forward to because I know how good both of these programs have been for so long. They're well coached. Football is big in those towns. So, and I was down on the field when the game ended, and and I played in a high school football state championship game, which my team did not win, and it was very close. And you never forget how that feels right away. You get over that, but you never forget that heartbreak. So I'm watching these kids from Jackson and the coaches; they're just devastated, and they didn't make any mistakes. They just, if those teams play 10 times, they're probably each going to win 5. That's how evenly matched it was. So, and what we do is the media can request specific players. Both coaches after game, they're coming back. And media can request players. It's never an issue with the winning team. Those guys want to talk. Right. With the teams that don't win, sometimes kids just don't want to do it, and we don't force them. Right. And I thought, boy, in this case, Tom Schuler, who's the Jackson County coach, Tommy will come back and talk. He's great. He's disappointed as he was. But the request for a couple of seniors, Rudy Voss and Bradley Buell, a quarterback and a running back, no hesitation. They came back. One of them's carrying the state semifinal trophy they were given after the game. And it was incredible. And this video, A.J. Feldman from I think it's a local station up in Bemidji, Brainerd, he was covering Piers. And it was a few days afterwards. I had tweeted about how great this scene was. I tweeted a still photo of these 2 guys and Tom Schuler sitting up there, and just how impressed I was that they came to the room. And their comments were heartfelt, and I didn't really go beyond that because the video is what makes it. And several people had emailed me or sent me Twitter messages. Is there video of any of these post games? In the high school league, we don't videotape these. But, if TV stations are there, websites, they're welcome to. And A.J. Feldman up north, thank goodness, he tweeted about a 2.5-minute piece of video of Rudy Voss and Bradley Buell Jr. from Jackson County Central. And it's incredible. Talking about how much it just means to these guys to be on the team, how they gave it their all. And Rudy talked about, he held up 2 fingers and said, the games are such a small part of this experience. And he said, football has been a blessing in my life. Wins and losses don't define my team. So I urge you, go to Twitter, find me on Twitter, MSHSL John. This thing is being spread around the country, this video. And people in the NFL have retweeted it. Bleacher Report, I saw today, with 7.5 million followers, retweeted it. And it just kind of is the essence of sports, especially high school sports. It's just spectacular. I don't know how to describe it. I can't describe it, and I've watched it multiple times. And next week, as this thing started really, really ratcheting up the last few days, I thought, I need to go to Jackson and do a follow-up. So next week, I'm going to go down there. They're having the 4 team captains visit an elementary school one day, the junior high the next day, basically the whole school day. They're going to be visiting with classrooms, I assume, talking about their experience of being part of a team And I assume they'll watch this video, and maybe they have other snippets from the game. But I'm going to go down there and I'm going to talk to these guys and just kind of see what's this been like. What's this? Clearly, you want to win that game. You want to be still playing football, but this is bigger than winning anything on the field. The fact that people all over the country have seen the video of these two guys, and so we'll do some kind of follow up. Just what's that? When something goes viral, something super positive goes viral. What's that like? We're so used to the bad stuff going viral, but. That'll be coming. I'll have a story there hopefully before the Prep Bowl next week. And I'll go through the matchups here. Now, there's been a few questions. Why are there 2 weeks between the state semifinals and the Prep Bowl? This is not the normal procedure, usually back-to-back weekends. But Thanksgiving's super late this year. The season started at the same point it usually does when all the other fall sports do. The football season could have started a week late, but that would have meant another round of playoffs later in November, outdoor playoffs. And that was what everybody wanted to avoid. The 2-week break is fine. And I believe the TV contract with Channel 45 stipulates Thanksgiving weekend because they hey, that's when everybody's watching TV if you're not out at the mall. So that's the reason there's 2 weeks. The coaches seem to like it a lot. The coaches who won in the semifinals, this is a lot less frantic. They were going to maybe take a few days off even from practice. So here's the Prep Bowl lineup. This is Prep Bowl 38 coming up. So Friday, November 9th, we'll have 4 games. We start at 10 a.m., Class 1A Bold versus Blooming Prairie, both undefeated. 1 o'clock, 2A, Minneapolis North versus Caledonia. Caledonia's trying to win, I think, their 5th championship in a row. They win just about every year, and they've won 67 games in a row. The state record is 76. So Minneapolis North and Caledonia, 4 o'clock Friday. SMB versus Rocori. SMB is the Jalen Suggs team, the Minnehaha Academy Blake, St. Paul Academy. I'm not sure. SMB, the Wolfpack. And then we'll cap off the first day, 7 o'clock Friday night, Class 6A, Champlain Park versus Wayzata. And those teams beat the 2 Lakeville teams, North and South, in the semis. That should be a great matchup. And we'll close the football season on Saturday, the 30th, with three games. 10 a.m., a couple of unbeaten 9-man teams, Hancock and Mountain Lake area. 1 o'clock in 3A, Dassel, Cokato, and Piers, the team that beat Jackson County Central. And the last game of the football season, 4 o'clock on Saturday, November 30th, 5A, Chaska versus St. Thomas Academy. And of those 7 games, one of them is a rematch from the regular season. In Week 8, Chaska beat St. Thomas Academy 20-zip. And so the Cadets are going to get another shot at the Hawks. We got 2 defending state champs. Caledonia, like I said, they're going for their 5th in a row. SMB won it all last year. And then other teams that are back in the Prep Bowl for the 2nd year in a row. Mountain Lake was the 9-man runner-up last year. Bold was the 1A runner-up. And again, St. Thomas Academy was the 5A runner-up. And one more football note. This was pretty rare. There was a guy involved with the Prep Bowl. He coaches one team, and he's the superintendent at another school. This is Aaron Cook from Winniemac. And if you don't know Winniemac, I'm not going to explain it to you, but it's 3 little towns up north. So he's the coach at Winniemac, and he's the superintendent at Ada Borup. Winniemac played in the 9-man semifinals. Ada Borup played in the 1A semifinals. Thankfully, not the same day. They were a day apart. And Aaron's a 32-year-old superintendent. He might be the youngest superintendent in the state. He's a good guy. He's a Winniemac grad. I was up there for a basketball game a couple years ago, and he was a wonderful host. So, he was a busy guy. I think he's taken some time off now.
Well, good for him. Hey, let's get to the nickname of the week. And by the way, SMB is St. Paul Academy, Minnehaha Academy, and Blake. So I think you were right about that. First of all, let's thank Pizza Barn in Princeton, pizzabarnprinceton.com.
Yeah, you bet, Jim. And we've talked a lot about just not only how great the food is, but how great of a community asset they are in Princeton and beyond. So this week, as we're sitting here, this is what's going on with the Pizza Barn. Inside and outside the Pizza Barn. Monday, they had an in-house fundraiser for the Freshwater United Methodist Church, which is planning a mission trip to Hungary. So they were doing that at the Pizza Barn. They also had an Oreo Fluff fundraiser at Princeton High School at a band concert. Thursday this week, they're doing concessions at a Princeton High School girls basketball game. They will be delivering pizzas, Thank a Ref pizzas, to the officials, as they always do. And at Malacca High School, at a middle school band concert, Oreo Fluff fundraisers. And these Oreo Fluff cups are basically, I think, pudding or ice cream with busted up Oreos in there. So I have not had one of those. I got to make that happen.
I think that will change.
Friday, they're doing concessions at the Prince